You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.
Welcome back to our Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager series. Quite a long name. In the last video, we covered an overview of MECM, like what is MECM, its key features, and where it fits into this Microsoft management ecosystem. Well, in this episode, we will dive into CAS, that is Central Administration Site. This is actually a very critical component in a large-scale MECM environment. Now, what is CAS? The Central Administration Site is the top-tier site in MECM hierarchy. It is used primarily in a large deployment that requires multiple primary sites. The CAS does not directly manage the clients, though. Instead, it serves as the central point for managing and aggregating the data from all the connected child primary sites. Its core responsibility includes centralized administration, reporting, site configuration, and policy distribution, where the main task or the main job is done by the primary sites. You can say CAS is just the mother site and the primary site is the child site here. So when to use a CAS? Well, you only need a CAS if you are managing more than one primary sites, which usually means managing over 150,000 clients. Or your organization requires geographically separated data centers. Or maybe because of some compliance reasons, your organization needs to segment administration across teams and regions. In that case, yes, a CAS can be used. But for most environments, a single primary site is more than enough. Only at a massive scale, a CAS becomes crucial. Well, let's talk about some core components of CAS. The first one is Central Site Database. Here, the CAS maintains a central database that aggregates the data from all the connected primary sites, which includes inventory, compliance, deployment, data, or even metadata, and much more. This central database, though, is read-only, especially for operational tasks. And it is used heavily for reporting or high-level management tasks. The other component is the site replication. This is very important. Here, the site data is synchronized between the CAS and its primary sites using database replication component. This ensures that the hierarchy remains consistent. With changes made at the CAS level flows down to all the primary sites, or the changes made on the primary site flows up to the CAS. Eventually, all the site will synchronize so that the data is available, whether for reporting or just for admin work, everywhere. That is what replication is, and replication runs 24/7. Remember, the CAS and primary site communicate via SQL Server replication. This allows the config change, or you can say the configuration changes made at the CAS level to flow down to all the primary sites. Yes, you can have multiple primary sites connected to one CAS. On the other hand, if you make any operational change or status change on the primary site level, it will flow up to the CAS. Now, the most important part is the client policies and deployments are pushed from the primary sites, not the CAS. Or in other words, remember, CAS is just doing the orchestration, is controlling the activities on all the primary site. And the actual operational work is done by primary site. So CAS equal to orchestration, primary site equal to operational or management layer. So If you can work without a CAS and just manage your environment with a primary site, then why do we even need CAS? There must be some positive aspects to it. Well, yes, there are, as well as some negative aspects too. Let's talk about the positive side. Well, when you add a CAS in your environment, you get a centralized control for a massive environment or massive scale deployment. Your company also gets an aggregated reporting structure. From one dashboard, you can generate rich reports for a multinational organization. It also enables fast scaling of a multi-site design. Plus, it also provides administrative segmentation. For example, you can deploy region-specific teams with the help of CAS. Now, what are the negatives? Well, when you deploy CAS, you immediately make your environment more complex. So yes, complexity will increase. It also increases the infrastructure requirement. You need to deploy servers. You need to make sure that your networks are fast enough for replication, and much more. Plus, remember, to deploy and manage clients, you still heavily rely on primary sites, as CAS cannot manage clients directly. And once you couple your primary site with the CAS, decoupling them is very difficult and complex. It can be done, but it is difficult to remove the CAS once deployed. So a CAS adds a powerful scalability, but also brings significant complexity. The architect who's designing the environment must take positive and negative in account to make a decision. So when not to use CAS? Well, in today's modern management landscape, most organizations don't even need a CAS, unless you are managing hundreds of thousands of clients. Well, if you have a fairly big environment and you're not managing thousands and thousands of clients, there are some better alternatives, like a standalone primary site. That is a single standalone primary site, which can support up to 250,000 clients. That is quite a big organization. Or if you really want to extend the capability, then attach your MECM with cloud, that is Intune, which will extend the capabilities without adding to the MECM site hierarchy. You're not extending the MECM hierarchy itself. You're just extending the capability to the cloud. And if your organization really wants to segment administration, then instead of adding a CAS, how about you use RBAC, that is role-based access control, or role-based administration. That can be done from a primary site in which you allow or you delegate roles to a specific user or team. That can be done in the primary site itself. So the general recommendation is avoid a CAS unless absolutely necessary. Just work with a single primary site and then grow your environment. All right, so now look at the CAS. So I have the whole structure here on top. If you can see, this is my ADDS server. This is my CAS, this is my primary site, and this is my secondary site. Every server is running in my sandbox environment. This is my hypervisor, that is VMware Workstation. So if we go to CAS, we'll go to Configuration Manager and open Configuration Console. Perfect. Now, you will see that even CAS console looks just like a primary site console. And it is same. But remember, the CAS do have its own set of responsibilities. CAS cannot perform primary site activities. So if I go to, let's say, administration, and then I go to hierarchy configuration, click on discovery methods. Pay attention. The CAS only have Active Directory Forest Discovery, and that's it. Rest discovering your users, your systems, discovering the groups, discovering, again, forests as well, your network discovery. Everything is done by another sites, but not CAS. Then if we go to the site configuration, click on sites. Again, you can see the whole structure. So if you go to a primary site, okay, you will see the secondary site associated with it. But if you go to the CAS, you will see all the sites under the hierarchy. So CAS is on the top. All right, so let's go to server and site system role. See, CAS kind of provides you a big picture of your environment. From CAS, you can control your whole environment. But remember, even if you are trying to push, let's say, a software, or you are pushing an update or something like that, you may think that you are using CAS console. But in fact, the CAS is just ordering a specific primary site or a secondary site to do the actual work. CAS just orchestrate. If you click on distribution point, again, the distribution point is on primary site and on secondary site, nothing on CAS. And let's see the components and also the site hierarchy. As you can see, if I expand it, there's a CAS, and here is your primary site. These are all the components. From this point till this point, all this is installed in CAS. From this point to this point, everything is installed on primary site, and something will be on secondary site as well. And rest all the components are also healthy. All right, so this is your CAS. There's no difference, it's just that it provides you a dashboard from which you can see the whole environment and you can orchestrate your processes. To sum it up, the central administration site is designed for a large-scale, complex MECM environments. It adds centralized control and data aggregation, but also with added complexity. Well, in the next video, we'll break down the primary site. That is the core site responsible for directly managing clients, so don't miss it. If you're finding this series helpful, hit like and subscribe and drop any questions below. Let's keep learning together, or let's become a co-creator in this series. Take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.